Hello my dear friends, and welcome to my channel. Get yourself comfortable and prepare for some interesting stories. One of them is a story about an OP who brought my sister to tears with his Christmas present. Oh god, he's a real monster. Please subscribe if you haven't, and I hope you'll enjoy it. My 28F sister Amanda, 30F, never met her bio mom. My dad, 51M, raised her alone until she was barely 1. My dad and my mom got married in 1992. Amanda knew that my mom wasn't her bio mother. She started pressuring my dad for information on her mom. When she was around 17, my dad always gave her vague answers and refused to talk about her bio mom, which put a strain on their relationship. Enters our uncle, 49M, and revealed the family secret. Apparently, Amy's mom wanted an abortion. She was 19, but my dad and his parents were able to bribe her. They offered her money if she followed up with a pregnancy, and she accepted. My grandparents sold one of their houses and gave her half of that money to Amy's mom when the pregnancy was viable. And the other half she received when she waived her parental rights over Amy to let my mom adopt her when she was 4. My uncle wasn't supposed to tell her that. My grandparents were furious. Amy stopped her crusade to meet her bio mom, and her relationship with my dad went back to normal. Amy never mentioned her bio mom again. Dad got her into therapy after that. A month ago, Amy found out that she was pregnant. The pregnancy was an accident. She switched birth controls. The problem being, Amy is about to start her surgical residency and her hours are insane. It is basically impossible to raise a baby while working in that rhythm, so she wanted an abortion. The problem is that Mark, 35M, her fiancé, 6 years together, wanted her to keep the baby. It caused a big fight. In an idiot move to convince Amy to keep the baby, Mark told Dad about this. Until that point, no one in our family knew about this. Dad talked with her, and they got into an enormous fight. Amy got the abortion 10 days ago. Mark ended up breaking up with her. She is obviously really sad. My dad was acting like a jerk. He was pretending that Amy didn't exist. He didn't want to talk or see her. So on Christmas Day, we were exchanging gifts. When everyone had already finished giving each other gifts, Dad got up and gave Amy her present. He gave her an envelope in front of everyone and told her to open it. It was 3 pictures with something written on the back, a name, an address, and a phone number. Dad told her that he was tired of babying her, that this is a photo of her bio mom and her 2 sons, that was her bio mom address, and that he contacted her bio mom, and she is willing to speak with Amy. He gave her Amy's number. Dad thinks that they will have a great relationship, since they are so similar. Amy broke down crying. I ended up in a fight with Dad, called him a monster for doing that to her. He just said he was just tired and left. We ended up leaving, and she spent the rest of Christmas crying on my shoulder. She is a mess since that. My younger brothers called me a Grinch for making a scene and ruining Christmas. My mom was silent during the whole thing. My parents have been giving me the cold shoulder since Christmas. Am I the idiot here? Not the idiot. It sounds like you and your sister are the only ones not acting like idiots here. Here's why every single other person involved is an idiot. 1. Her ex-fiancé is an idiot for trying to use her father to control her. 2. Y'all's dad is an idiot for berating her about something that was none of his business and then using Christmas as an opportunity to further lash out at her. 3. Your mother is an idiot for standing by and not saying jack crap while he did it. 4. Finally, every younger brother who thinks you're the issue here is an idiot because you're clearly not the one that made a scene. That would be your father. Not the idiot. Literally everyone is an idiot besides you and your sister. Your dad clearly has some resentment towards your sister and her bio mother, and it's very, very toxic. It's her body and her choice. Your dad giving her the contact info was not a gift. It was done in spite. Please continue to support your sister. I can only imagine how hard this is for her. Even if your parents sent you and Amanda an engraved gold invitation to NYE, there is no way either of you should go. Their casual cruelty and blaming you for ruining their Christmas is reprehensible and victim blaming, and they need to be in timeout until they apologize. I hope Amanda can start her residency without ongoing drama from the rest of her family. Support her as best you can. And her ex is a jerk. You're not the idiot. I met my wife in my early 30s. She was in her mid-20s at the time. I was already well established and had made a significant amount of money working as a quant and investing my savings diligently. She on the other hand had never gone to college and was content working for basically minimum wage. So when I meet her, we click instantly and I fall head over heels for her. We get married and move in together and soon after have 3 kids. When we were expecting our firstborn, she had told me she wanted to be a stay-at-home mom. Obviously I was jealous, but I went along with it since it seemed logical. So she spends the next 20 years as a stay-at-home mom taking care of our kids while I work 12-hour days and then some. I'm not demeaning stay-at-home moms, by the way, but in the context of our marriage she had an extremely easygoing lifestyle. A couple years ago I discovered she had been cheating on me with her friend's husband. Divorce obviously followed. The only major asset we had in the US was our house, which was a premarital asset. We had a shared bank account, but since I am a finance guy I handled all our investments and for tax reasons invested it abroad in my home country. Now if we had just grown apart or she said she was unhappy, I'd have no problem paying what's fair. But the fact she cheated on me is what makes me resent paying her a cent. So in the divorce she is awarded half of our investments made during marriage, 90% of which are abroad in my name, along with alimony for 20 years for 30% of my pay. So here I am given an opportunity to get out of this entirely by moving back to my home country and never looking back. So I sell our house as fast as possible, move the money abroad, and move back to my home country while stringing her along about why it's taking so long to liquidate our savings. Once abroad I immediately stop alimony payments. Now she has no legal recourse, I've double-checked with lawyers, and is left with her share of the small amount we had in the States. The reason I'm asking here is that my own children are split on this. My son is on my side 100%, while my daughters are 90% on their mother's side. I figured it would be interesting to see the opinions of people here. You're the idiot even if she cheated. This isn't about feelings at this point. This is about labor relations. The idea of alimony for the stay-at-home spouse is that they raised your kids, forgoing other work. It doesn't matter that she was working for minimum wage. She gave up opportunities once you had the kids. She didn't save for retirement, because if someone is a primary caregiver the idea is that the spouse who works outside the home takes care of retirement. Now that the marriage is over, alimony fulfills your obligation to pay for her half of the labor of raising the children you also wanted. Everyone's the idiot here. Cheating is awful, and she did put herself in this position by cheating, but she did stay at home for 20 years raising the kids. There is no payment there, but it is a needed job. I do understand where you are coming from 100%, but it does seem a bit of a jerk move and dodgy to have moved all your money overseas. It wasn't the best idea for her to cheat, knowing she had no savings or retirement plans herself, and it has most likely ruined her life. Play stupid games, win stupid prizes. But the way you did this could be seen as a messed up thing to do. However, if this was just her being unhappy, and you moved the money overseas I would be saying you are the idiot, but since she did cheat, one of the most horrible things people go through I feel this may be out of line but justified. Well I'm gonna go against the grain, and say not the idiot. Her job was a wife and stay-at-home mom. She did her job, and in return, you handled the finances and worked outside of the home. She screwed up and cheated on you, and got fired. If you screw up at work and get fired, not laid off, there's a difference. You're not eligible for severance, and depending on what you did, you may not get unemployment insurance either. Falling out of love happens. Wanting a divorce happens. But cheating was her choice. Bit of backstory, my brother and I are very close, his wife and I not so much, we've had our fair share of tension. Anyway I fell sick in the middle of May, but held off getting checked out because of COVID and safety reasons. Eventually when June started I decided to go check it out, turns out it was stage 2 breast cancer. I decided to tell my family 2 days ago since lockdown laws have been lifted, so I invited everyone over, and when I told my brother and his wife he said okay that's fine because he has news to share too. So our family gathered and my brother decided to go first. He did ask me, and he announced that his wife is 4 months pregnant. Of course everyone was overjoyed. After about an hour they asked about my news, and I knew this was probably the last time in a long while before I had everyone here in person, so I told them. And of course the initial joyous atmosphere was gone. The rest of the evening was a lot of support for me and not a lot of attention on my brother and his wife. My brother didn't seem to mind this, as he was quite distraught with my news, but I saw his wife pretty upset and cornered off. So I decided to approach her, and I apologized for the timing of it all. She told me I could have waited a bit and Skyped everyone with the news, as it's just stage 2, and let my brother and her have this moment with their family. I told her I initially called this meeting for this exact reason and she said she knows, but I knew my news would damper everyone's mood. So I told her she's being ridiculous and I wanted to tell my family in person, since they are my family after all. And she burst into tears and demanded to go home, which my brother obliged to, even though he was confused. He promised he would come see me soon, since he stays close by to me. Later that evening I get a message from him asking if I told his wife that she isn't part of the family and that I deliberately wanted the attention on me because that's what she's upset about. Also the next day my parents called me to check up on me and my mom mentioned that my brother's wife called yesterday evening really upset telling them what I said and claiming I'm jealous because she's pregnant and I'm trying to ruin her life. I told my parents what actually happened and what I really said and it caused not only tension between his wife and me, but my parents and her too, and now she's also blaming me for my parents not being her biggest fans. My brother is torn, but has been trying to talk to her, which results in more tears and a strain in their marriage. All this drama is making me think that I should have just called up everyone rather, or just told my brother that his news had to wait, even though that would have been selfish of me. I really wanted my family support that day, but I'm starting to rethink whether it was worth all this drama and potentially causing further problems. So Reddit, am I the idiot? Not the idiot. You discussed sharing news at the same gathering prior to it. There's no way anyone would have known that your news is that you have cancer. If you and your sis-in-law never got along, she is probably just upset because of that. She's being selfish and hormonal prob. It's not like you decided to get sick at the same time that she's pregnant. Also grandparents or to-be grandparents tend to want to keep the carrier of their grandbabies happy, so that could be why it seems like they on her side. I'm sorry for this, but it will all pass. Not the idiot. First of all, your life is in danger. That takes precedence over a pregnancy announcement. Second of all, it was inappropriate for them to make this announcement when you called the meeting. They were probably excited, but they also should have realized that you might not have good news. She has no right to take out her frustration at the situation on you. She can be angry and frustrated, but she should have dealt with that privately. Then she lied to people about what happened. That is ridiculous. It's also clear that she tried to get her version of the story out first, which is a manipulation tactic. If this was a meeting your brother, your parents, or anyone else called, then you would be an idiot. However, you called this meeting, and your brother and sister-in-law decided to take the moment away from you, not to mention making the moment awkward, by sharing their own news. Your sister-in-law is also being a dramatic idiot by claiming that your diagnosis is ruining her life. Congratulate your brother on becoming a father and tell his wife to pound sand. I wish you the best of luck in your recovery. First-time poster, lockdown lurker. 11 years ago, my 34 sister Bill dad died leaving me guardian to my 2 nieces, then 5/3. My dad left me his house so we moved there. The kid settled in the school quickly and made friends. This woman S45F was particularly good at making sure the kids and I were included in events, but she seemed a bit off. She kept telling me how lucky I was to have such a nice house. I pointed out that I only inherited it as 3 members of my family died, but she laughed and called me sentimental. She also loved to organize events at my pool, but she always made out that she was the host, taking charge, making me feel like a stranger in my own house. Our youngest daughters share a birthday, so they generally share a pool party. 6 meters ago my BF, R35, moved in. I've known him as a friend since before my sis died, and the girls think of him as their favorite uncle. But recently we got together. A few months after he'd moved in, S texted me saying there were rumors about R and my oldest E, now 16. S said he'd acted inappropriately towards E. I asked E about her day. When she realized there had been gossip, she burst into tears saying she hated this village, as no one wanted you to be happy. She said as they walked down the high street, he'd given her a side hug and kissed her on the top of her head. She said it made her feel like she had a dad for the first time in her life, and now the moment was ruined. S texted me later asking what I'd done, and I told her to drop it. But she kept texting me, saying I was too young to see how he was manipulating me. She suggested he was grooming my daughter. I told her to stop again, but she didn't. So I blocked her number and unfollowed her on all social media. Other friends sent me screenshots of where she'd posted to friends that he was a threat to children, and I was an enabler. Then a few days ago, I bumped into S. She was all smiles, telling me which date suited them best for the party and how all the village were looking forward to it. I said that due to COVID no pool parties were happening, and even if there were, surely as a mother, she wouldn't want her kids to attend a gathering where a threat to children and his enabler were present. She said she didn't know what I meant. I said I could show her some screenshots if it would help. She said how much her daughter was looking forward to it, that I'd be selfish if I didn't let it go ahead. I said she should have thought about that before spreading false rumors. I said if my girl invited hers over, that was fine, but S was never to step foot on my property again. Afterward she posted something on the community Facebook page about selfish incomer BHSs. It got taken down, but not before her friends left nasty comments. One of them texted me saying I should be nicer considering the circumstances, but I don't even know what that means. Anyway, I don't think I've been unreasonable, but clearly half the village think I'm the idiot. Am I? Update. 1. R and I will get legal advice and then decide what to do. 2. Friends seem to think S has damaged herself more than me. People have always given her leeway as she does do loads in the village and she is married to a total SHT. But her post about incomers has offended loads of people, anyone who wasn't born here, and stirred up lots of ill feelings. 3. For those of you who say we should move, I have thought about it. But we can't really for 2 years until we get to a good point in the girls' schooling. It's under consideration. 4. I am going to message the one who told me to be nicer considering the circumstances, because I genuinely don't get what she means. 5. For those asking about my use of village, in the UK that's what we call places smaller than towns. Not sure what the precise geographical definition, you just know. It's not that usual to have an indoor pool in the UK, so I think that's why she's so obsessed with it. 6. I have thought about sending her a picture of me in the pool drinking a cocktail with a raised finger, but I think I would be an idiot then, and it's probably not worth the hassle. Not the idiot. Those kinds of rumors can destroy a person's life. Clearly the niece said it was not done in a defiant manner, that she didn't feel uncomfortable etc. and was fine. This outsider decided to stir drama up and wanted to reap the benefits still. She hurt your niece with gossip and could have harmed an innocent man's reputation because she couldn't ask a question or be adult about it. She also started drama on social media for it as well. It's total bullcrap. You've every right to ban someone like her. If the wrong person heard her unjustified rumors, it could have done a lot of damage. What? Imagine how he felt. That moment was probably so special and meaningful. How dare someone take that from her? I would vance every event, because if you feel okay still having parties in my yard, but he is grooming children, sounds like she just likes to gossip and be a jerk. I am not even going to talk about the tragedy that resulted in you having the house in the first place. She called you sentimental. My condolences to your family, and not the idiot. Ban the whole bunch. Not the idiot. You should be nice to her considering the circumstances. You mean the circumstances where she walks all over you, your property, and your family. The circumstances where she spread absolutely awful rumors about your family and then still acted entitled to your property. Those circumstances. Well guys, that's it for today. If you end up enjoying this video, please consider subscribing, and if you missed the last episode on the channel, I'm gonna link it right here. The story is about an OP who needs to find out if he is doing the right thing by not going to the hospital where his disabled sister is. Check this out if you haven't, and I'll see you in my next video.